You can't make me wet down there, Jasmine said, standing in the flooded penthouse bathroom with water dripping from her left side, hands on her hips, looking down at her completely dry legs with the kind of serious focus you'd use to deliver a medical diagnosis. The emergency plumber made a sound like a dying cat. The maintenance supervisor suddenly found the ceiling absolutely fascinating. And Kang Min-ho, billionaire CEO, technology genius, the man who made entire corporate boards break into nervous sweats, stood frozen in his own bathroom doorway looking at this Black American woman in his soaked staff uniform, like she had just detonated a bomb in the middle of his perfectly controlled universe. The silence that crashed down was the kind that happens when someone accidentally says the most unintentionally sexual thing possible to the most powerful man in South Korea. The kind where everyone present simultaneously wants to disappear into the floor while also desperately wanting to see what happens next. Minho's dark eyes traveled slowly, and I mean slowly, beasties, from the burst pipe still spraying water across his imported Italian marble, to Jasmine's completely drenched left side where the pressurized water had hit her from shoulder to hip, to her completely dry right side and dry lower half, then finally to her face where she stood looking at him with those striking brown eyes like she just delivered a perfectly reasonable damage assessment report, which technically she had. His jaw clenched, his throat moved, the corner of his mouth twitched, and then Kang Min-ho, who, according to every single person in his household staff, had not genuinely smiled in 11 months, who had built a tech empire worth $4.7 billion on ice-cold precision and emotional control, who made Forbes Korea's most powerful under 40 list 4 years running, pressed his lips together, lost the battle completely, and laughed. Not some polite corporate chuckle, a real, genuine, from-the-chest laugh. The kind that transformed his entire face. The kind that made him look 10 years younger. The laugh of a man who had just been ambushed by something so unexpectedly wonderful that every single one of his carefully constructed defenses came crashing down. Welcome to Story World, fans! And, oh my God, do I have a story for you today? Please smash that like button right now, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear is the most chaotically beautiful love story that started with a plumbing emergency, an accidental innuendo that will go down in history, and a confident Black woman from Chicago who walked into Seoul's most intimidating household and reorganized absolutely everything, including the heart of the most untouchable man in South Korea. Comment the word fearless below right this second, and I mean right now, because by the end of this story, you will understand completely and permanently why that's the only word that describes what happens when you stop being afraid of powerful men and start making them terrified of losing you. But before we get to that pool house, I mean bathroom, I mean that moment that changed everything, you need to understand exactly who Jasmine Brooks was, because trust me, Bestie's Minho never stood a chance against this woman. Now let me take you back to where this impossibly perfect chaos actually began. Jasmine Marie Brooks was born and raised on the south side of Chicago by a single mother who worked 2 jobs and still found time to make sure her daughter understood 3 fundamental truths. 1, you are brilliant, and don't you ever forget it. 2, the world will try to make you small, so you walk into every room like you own it. And 3, a man who can't handle your strength isn't your man. Her mama didn't raise no fool, and she definitely didn't raise no woman who did anything halfway. Jasmine had the plan. And the plan was good, bisties. Northwestern University, degree in business management, 3 years grinding at a prestigious Chicago consulting firm, making great money, building her reputation, on the fast track to junior partner by 30. She had her own apartment in a good neighborhood, a solid 401k, and she was winning Then her mama got sick. Not regular sick. Cancer. Sick. Stage 3 breast cancer, the aggressive kind that moves fast and doesn't care about your plans. The kind that requires immediate surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, experimental treatments, and medical bills that started arriving like an avalanche. Each one bigger and more terrifying than the last. Jasmine liquidated her savings in 2 months, picked up freelance consulting projects, started driving for a rideshare app on weekends. Her mama's sister sent money from Detroit. Her church held a fundraiser. But it wasn't enough. The math was brutal and simple. Her corner office could wait, but her mama's treatment could not. She found the International Placement Agency during a 2 a.m. Google search when she couldn't sleep because she was too busy calculating impossible numbers. Elite household management positions for high net worth families worldwide. The salary difference made her sit up straight in bed. 4 times her consulting salary. Housing included, meals included. Benefits that covered international medical payment transfers. She applied on a Wednesday. Had a video interview on Thursday. Got the offer Friday morning. "Ms. Brooks," the placement director said over the video call, looking at Jasmine's resume with visible confusion. "You're significantly overqualified for domestic household management. You have a degree from Northwestern. 3 years corporate consulting experience. Why are you applying for this position?" Jasmine looked directly into the camera. "Because I need the money to save my mother's life, and I'm not too proud to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And because overqualified means I'll be the best household manager you've ever placed." "So are you offering me the position or not?" The director blinked, then smiled. "Ms. Brooks, I'm offering you the position. When can you start?" "When do you need me?" 2 weeks? I'll be there in 1. The position was at the private residence of Kang Min-ho, CEO and founder of Kang Technologies, one of South Korea's largest tech conglomerates. Semiconductors, AI development, robotics, clean energy. The man was 34 years old and worth more money than Jasmine could conceptualize. She called her mama first. "Mama, I got a job in Seoul." Her mother was quiet for exactly 3 seconds, then, "Seoul, baby, that's in South Korea. That's halfway around the world." "I know, Mama, but the salary covers your treatment, all of it, in 18 months instead of 5 years. Silence. Then her mama's voice, thick with emotion. "Jasmine, baby, you don't have to." "Yes, I do, Mama. You raised me by yourself, worked 2 jobs so I could go to Northwestern, never asked for anything. Now it's my turn. Let me do this." She heard her mama crying. "I love you, baby girl." "I love you more, Mama. Now rest. I got this." She signed the contract that night. Packed in 3 days, flew out Sunday. "Besties, can I just pause here and ask, would you move halfway around the world for your family? Would you take a job you're overqualified for to save someone you love?" Comment family first. If you would, because I need to know I'm not crying alone over here. Jasmine landed at Incheon International Airport on a Thursday morning in September. The sky was so blue, it looked fake. Everything was clean and organized and intimidating in a way Chicago never was. She was met by a young Korean woman holding an iPad with her name on it. "Miss Brooks, welcome to Seoul. I'm Park Jiwon, but everyone calls me Jiwon. I'm the household coordinator. I'll take you to the residence." Jiwon was early 20s, bubbly, spoke perfect English, and spent the entire 90-minute drive from the airport, providing intelligence Jasmine absolutely needed. "Mr. Kang is very particular," Jiwon said, weaving through Seoul traffic. "But not mean, just specific. He has very exact standards." "I can work with exact standards," Jasmine said, watching Seoul unfold outside the window. Skyscrapers that looked like they belonged in a sci-fi movie, streets packed with cars and people and energy, a city that practically vibrated with ambition. Good, because the last household manager only lasted 6 months. Jasmine looked over. "Why only 6 months?" Jiwon glanced at her, then back at the road. "She couldn't handle the pressure. Mr. Kang works constantly, 18-hour days. When he's home, everything has to be perfect. Also," She paused, then added quietly, "He's very handsome." She developed feelings. It got awkward. Director Choi had to let her go. Jasmine filed that under. Noted, not relevant to me, will not be a problem. The Kang residence wasn't a house. It was a statement, perched in the hills of Gangnam like a glass and steel sculpture, all clean lines and floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking Seoul like it owned the view. Security gates that opened silently. Facial recognition scanners. Guards in subtle positions. This wasn't just wealth. This was power. 15,000 square meters, Juwon narrated. 52 rooms, 18 full-time staff. Mr. Kang's private quarters are the entire East Wing. You'll have a suite in the West Wing. It's really nice. Director Choi Sang-woo was waiting at the main entrance. 50s, impeccably dressed, in a tailored suit, holding a tablet, with the energy of someone who ran billion-dollar operations and accepted nothing less than perfection. "Ms. Brooks, welcome to the Kang residence." His handshake was firm, assessing. "I trust your flight was comfortable?" "Very. Thank you, Director Choi." "Excellent. Let me show you to your quarters. You'll want to settle before we begin orientation." Her quarters made Jasmine stop dead in the doorway. This wasn't staff housing. This was a 5-star hotel suite, massive windows with panoramic Seoul views, king bed with linens that probably cost more than her first car, bathroom with a rain shower and a soaking tub, sitting area with a designer couch and fresh orchids. On the desk was a handwritten note in precise, elegant script. "Welcome to the Kang residence. We maintain excellence here. I trust you will contribute accordingly. KMH." Jasmine read it twice, set it down, walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows and looked out at Seoul spreading below like a promise. "Okay, Chicago," she thought. "Let's show them what excellence actually looks like." She unpacked in 18 minutes. Efficiency was life, showered, changed into the professional black dress she'd brought specifically for first impressions, and reported to Director Choi's office at exactly 2:30 p.m. He looked up, noted the time, nodded once. "Punctual. Good. Let me brief you on Mr. Kang's requirements." He slid a leather portfolio across the desk. Jasmine opened it. 53 pages. This outlines Mr. Kang's preferences, daily schedule, household protocols, and operational standards. Most staff require several weeks to absorb this information. Jasmine scanned the pages quickly. Coffee specifications down to exact temperature and bean origin, meal timing, wardrobe care instructions, meeting preparation requirements, lighting preferences, temperature settings, communication protocols. It was detailed. She looked up. "I'll have this memorized by morning." Director Choi raised one eyebrow. "That's ambitious, Ms. Brooks." "That's accurate, Director Choi. I don't make promises I can't deliver." Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe. "Mr. Kang returns from Tokyo tomorrow at 6 a.m. His morning routine begins at 6:30. Coffee is prepared at 6:27, delivered to his study at precisely 6:30. Temperature? 84 degrees Celsius, black, specific cup, Korean ceramic, handmade, irreplaceable. It's in the executive pantry, marked." "Understood, Ms. Brooks." Director Choi set down his tablet. "I'll be direct. This position is demanding. Mr. Kang's standards are extraordinarily high. He expects perfection without having to think about it. The last 4 household managers couldn't maintain that standard. Can you?" Jasmine met his eyes directly. "Director Choi, I don't break under pressure. I perform better under pressure. Mr. Kang won't have to think about his household, because I'll make sure everything runs so smoothly he won't even notice it's being managed. That's my commitment." Director Choi studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "I believe you might actually deliver on that." "I definitely will." That night, Jasmine sat in her beautiful suite with all 53 pages and studied. By 9 p.m., she had it memorized. By 10 p.m., she'd identified 3 operational inefficiencies she could improve. By 11 p.m., she'd set 6 alarms for 5:30 a.m. and laid out her outfit for the morning. She went to sleep organized, prepared, and completely unaware that in approximately 9 hours, she would meet the man who would completely wreck every plan she'd ever made. Fans, are you ready for this first meeting? Because I need you to comment ready right now. Hit that subscribe button and prepare yourself, because when Jasmine meets Minho for the first time, the tension is absolutely unreal. The alarms were unnecessary. Jasmine woke at 5:20 a.m., alert and ready. She dressed in tailored black slacks and a crisp white silk blouse, professional, elegant, powerful, hair in a sleek low bun, natural makeup that enhanced without announcing. Her mama's voice in her head. Walk in like you belong there, baby, because you do belong there. She reached the executive pantry at 6:22 a.m. Located the specific coffee cup, absolutely beautiful Korean ceramic, clearly handmade and valued. Started coffee preparation at 6:24. Temperature calibrated to exactly 84 degrees Celsius. She poured at 6:27, arranged the cup on a silver tray with the morning newspapers in the exact order specified. Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Korea Economic Daily, Mail Business. At exactly 6:30 a.m., she knocked on the study door. Enter. That voice. Deep, calm, controlled. The voice of someone who gave orders and expected immediate compliance. Jasmine entered. Kang Min-ho stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows with his back to the door, on a phone call in rapid Korean. Morning light cut across broad shoulders in a white dress shirt, sleeves already rolled to his elbows, tailored black pants. Even from behind, he radiated power. She set the tray down silently on the side table, turned to leave. Wait! She stopped, turned back. He ended the call, turned around. And Jasmine understood immediately why the previous manager had caught feelings, because Kang Min-ho wasn't just handsome. He was devastating. Tall, easily 6'3", lean, athletic build, face that was all sharp angles and perfect proportions, strong jaw, high cheekbones, straight nose, hair styled back, revealing intense, dark eyes that were currently examining her with the focus of someone analyzing complex data. She met his gaze directly, didn't flinch, didn't look away. You're the new household manager. Yes, sir, Jasmine Brooks. He walked to the side table, picked up the coffee cup. Those hands, elegant, precise, the hands of someone who built things. He sipped, set it down, looked at her. Temperature is exact, timing is precise. You read the protocol file. All 53 pages, sir. Most people skim. I'm not most people, Mr. Kang. Something flickered behind those dark eyes. Interest, assessment, calculation. Director Choi briefed you on expectations. Thoroughly. And you believe you can meet them. Jasmine allowed herself a small, confident smile. Mr. Kang, I don't believe, I know. I'm exceptionally good at what I do. You won't need to think about household management. It will simply work perfectly. That's my guarantee. He looked at her for a long moment. She had the distinct feeling of being cataloged, analyzed, filed into whatever organizational system ran behind those intelligent eyes. Confidence, he said. Competence, she corrected gently. The corner of his mouth moved, not quite a smile, but close. We'll see which one you actually possess, Ms. Brooks. You will, sir. I promise you will. He almost smiled. Dismissed. Thank you, Mr. Kang. She walked out with perfect posture, closed the door, made it to the staff corridor, and exhaled. Jawan materialized like a cheerful ghost. You survived, Jasmine laughed. Was I not supposed to? The last manager came out looking traumatized. You look totally fine. Because I am totally fine. But he's so intense, right? Those eyes. Jasmine thought about those dark, analytical eyes. That voice. The way he'd looked at her like she was an equation he was solving. He's focused, she said carefully. I can work with focused. What she didn't say. He's dangerous. What she didn't say, not threatening dangerous, magnetic dangerous. What she didn't say, I need to be very careful here. 3 days later, Jasmine had reorganized the executive pantry storage system, optimized the household cleaning schedule for efficiency, and identified that the morning coffee had been wrong for 2 years because the previous staff were measuring temperature after pouring instead of before. She encountered Minho on day 4 in the executive wardrobe room. She was preparing his clothes for the day. Board meeting at 9 a.m., investor lunch at 1 p.m., charity gala at 7 p.m. The 3 complete outfits, coordinated, pressed, ready. She was checking cufflinks when he walked in. Stopped. "You prepared these yourself?" She turned. "Yes, sir." "We have wardrobe staff. The pressing technique leaves inconsistent starch levels in the collar. You prefer precise starch levels. I don't delegate precision." He walked closer, examined the shirt, ran his fingers over the collar with those elegant hands. "This is perfect. That's the standard, Mr. Kang." He looked at her, really looked at her. "You've been here 4 days, and you're already improving our systems." "I'm optimizing them. There's a difference." "What else have you optimized?" "Would you like the verbal summary or the written report I'm preparing for Director Choi?" He almost smiled. "Almost. You're preparing a written report. You reward excellence with recognition. Excellence requires documentation." This time he did smile. Small, brief, but real. "I look forward to reading it, Ms. Brooks." He left. Jasmine stood in the wardrobe room trying to remember how to breathe normally. Jiwan appeared. She had a gift for timing. He smiled, Jasmine. He smiled at you. Humans smile, Jiwan. Not that human. Not at work. Not in 11 months. Jasmine filed that under. Interesting, irrelevant, do not pursue. Besties, can you see the tension building? Can you feel it? Comment, tension. If you're already shipping them because we haven't even gotten to the bathroom incident yet and I can barely handle it. Day 12, Friday evening, 6:47 p.m. Jasmine was coordinating with the maintenance team because there was a leak in the East Wing master bathroom. Not a small leak. A problem leak. The kind that had been temporarily patched twice and was now graduating into a legitimate emergency. The plumber, Mr. Kim, 60 years old, 30 years experience, was examining the main water line. "The shutoff valve is compromised. We need to use the secondary pressure system." "Where's the secondary system?" "Connected through the pool house mechanical room." "Show me." They went to the pool house, a separate structure connected to the main residence by a covered walkway. Minho's private lap pool where he swam every morning at 5:30 a.m., exactly 2,000 meters, exactly 43 minutes. The mechanical room was in the basement, Mr. Kim explained. "This valve controls water pressure to the entire east wing. We turn it quarter turn right to isolate the master bathroom." Jasmine examined the system. "This will shut off water to his bathroom completely?" "Temporarily, until we replace the main valve, maybe 2 hours." "Do it." Mr. Kim reached for the valve. The door opened behind them. "Stop." They both froze. Kang Min-ho stood in the doorway in athletic wear. He'd clearly just finished his evening workout. Black fitted shirt, athletic pants, towel around his neck, hair slightly damp, looking at them in his mechanical room with an expression of controlled intensity. "What's happening?" His voice was calm, dangerously calm. Jasmine straightened. "Pipe failure in your master bathroom, sir. We're isolating the water supply to contain the damage and execute repairs." He walked closer. "How severe?" "Contained to the bathroom. Your bedroom is protected. Repair team arrives in 30 minutes. He looked at Mr. Kim. "Proceed." Mr. Kim nodded, turned the valve. The wrong direction. Quarter turn left instead of right. The secondary pressure release valve, which had been holding back accumulated drainage pressure from the pool filtration system, released. Directly at Jasmine. A pressurized stream of cold water hit her left side from shoulder to hip in one decisive, powerful burst. Soaked her completely on the left side. Her right side stayed completely dry. Her legs and lower half totally dry. She stood there, dripping, looked down at herself, looked at the valve, looked at Mr. Kim, who looked absolutely horrified, looked at Kang Min-ho, who was staring at her with an expression she couldn't read, and Jasmine Brooks, with the most serious, professional tone she could manage, said, "You can't make me wet down there." Completely missed. She meant her legs. She meant the water hadn't reached her lower half. She meant it as a literal, clinical damage assessment. Mr. Kim made a sound like a strangled sob. Minho went completely still, stared at her soaked left side, stared at her dry right side, stared at her completely dry legs and lower half, stared at her utterly serious face delivering this statement like it was a maintenance report. His jaw clenched, his throat moved, his shoulders started shaking. And then Kang Min-ho, billionaire, CEO, corporate titan, the man who hadn't genuinely smiled at work in 11 months, laughed. Real, warm, genuine, unguarded. The laugh transformed his entire face, made him look younger, made him look human. He laughed like a man who'd just been ambushed by something so unexpectedly wonderful he had no defenses against it. "Ms. Brooks," he managed between laughs, "that is..." More laughter. The most unintentionally perfect thing anyone has ever said in this residence. Mr. Kim was trying to become invisible. Jasmine realized what she'd said, felt heat rise in her face. "Sir, I meant the water didn't reach my..." "I know what you meant." He was fighting to stop smiling and failing. "You should change before you freeze. I should fix your bathroom first. You're soaking wet. I'm aware, I'll dry. Your bathroom won't fix itself." He looked at her really, looked at her with an expression she'd never seen before. Warm, surprised, almost soft. "Jasmine," he said. First time using her first name, her actual name. She felt it in her chest. "Go change, that's not a request." She held his gaze. "Yes, Mr. Kang." She turned to leave. Behind her, she heard him say quietly, almost to himself, "Completely missed." Then laugh again, softer, warmer. She made it to the staff corridor before Jiwon intercepted her. "What happened? Why are you soaked? And why is Mr. Kang laughing? I can hear him from the main house." Jasmine kept walking. "Plumbing accident. He's laughing, Jasmine. Actually laughing." "Good, laughter is healthy." She got to her suite, closed the door, leaned against it, thought, "Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That wasn't just laughter, that was connection. That was him seeing me. Really seeing me." She changed clothes, went back to supervise the bathroom repairs, avoided Minho for the rest of the evening. But that night lying in bed, all she could think about was his laugh, his face when he looked at her, the way he'd said her name, Jasmine, like it meant something. "Fans. Are you breathing right now? Because I'm not. Comment I'm dead of that pool house scene. He absolutely destroyed you. We need to talk about what happens next." The next morning, Jasmine went to deliver Minho's coffee at exactly 6:30 a.m., like always. She knocked. "Enter." She walked in, set the tray down. "Ms. Brooks." She turned. "Yes, sir?" He was looking at her with those dark eyes, but different now, warmer. "The coffee has been perfect every single morning since you arrived." "Thank you, sir." "For 2 years before you, it was wrong. Every morning, wrong temperature, wrong timing, wrong everything." He paused. "You fixed it on day 1. "I read the specifications, sir." "You did more than read them. You understood them. You understood what I actually needed before I even had to say it." He stood, walked closer. "You've been here 2 weeks, and you've improved every system you've touched. The wardrobe preparation, the schedule management, the household operations, everything is better." "That's my job, sir." "No, your job is household management. What you're doing is something else entirely." He was close now, close enough that she could see the flecks of lighter brown in his dark eyes. "What am I doing, Mr. Kang?" You're making my life better. Not just more efficient, better, and He stopped, seemed to reconsider. I wanted you to know that I notice, I see what you're doing, and I appreciate it. Jasmine's heart was doing something complicated in her chest. You're welcome, sir. Jasmine. There it was again. Her name, in that voice. Yes? Call me Minho when we're alone, please. Oh, that might not be appropriate, sir. Probably not, but I'm asking anyway. They looked at each other. The air felt charged. Okay, she whispered. Minho. He smiled, that real smile, the one that transformed him. Thank you, Jasmine. Over the next 2 weeks, things shifted. Not dramatically, just differently. He started finding reasons to be in rooms she was working in. She started timing her schedule around his. They had conversations, real ones, about soul, about Chicago, about her mama's treatment, going well, about his company, about life. He asked about her family. She asked about his. She learned his parents died in a car accident when he was 23. He'd built the company from almost nothing, worked 18-hour days for 11 years, had no time for relationships, no time for anything except work. Don't you get lonely? She asked one evening when she found him in his study at 11 p.m. He looked up from his laptop. I got used to it. That's not the same as not being lonely. No, he said quietly, it's not. She brought him tea, not coffee. Tea, a special blend she'd researched for relaxation and sleep. He drank it. This is excellent. What is it? Something my mama makes, adapted for your specific requirements. Your mother makes tea. My mama makes everything better. It's her superpower. He smiled. I'd like to meet her someday. Jasmine's breath caught. Yeah? Yeah. Something was happening between them. Something real and dangerous and wonderful. Besties, comment, shipping them if you can feel the connection building, because I am living for this slow burn. Week 6, Saturday evening. Minho knocked on her suite door. This had never happened before. She opened it. He stood there in casual clothes jeans, a fitted black shirt, no business armor, just him. Hi, he said. Hi, is something wrong? No, would you have dinner with me? Dinner? Yes, not as employer and employee, just as two people having dinner. Jasmine's heart was pounding. Minho, that's inappropriate, I know, but I'm asking anyway. She should say no. She knew she should say no. Okay, she said instead. They had dinner in his private dining room. Not fancy, just simple, good food and conversation that flowed like they'd been doing this for years. He told her about building the company, about the pressure, about feeling like he couldn't stop working because if he did, everything would fall apart. She told him about her mama, about Chicago, about feeling guilty for being so far away, but knowing this was the only way to save her. You're incredible, he said quietly. You moved halfway around the world for your mother. You're working a job you're overqualified for. You don't complain. You just do it. That's just love, she said. You do what you have to do. Not everyone does. Then not everyone loves right. He looked at her like she'd said something profound. After dinner, they stood at the window looking at Seoul's nightlights. Jasmine, he said quietly, I need to tell you something. Okay. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since the day you arrived. Since you walked into my study and met my eyes and didn't flinch. Since you reorganized my life and made everything better. Since you stood in my pool house, soaking wet and said the most perfect thing without realizing it. He turned to face her. I know this is complicated. I know I'm your employer. I know there are power dynamics and professional boundaries and 1,000 reasons why this is a terrible idea. But I don't care. Because when I'm with you, I feel alive for the first time in years. You see me, not CEO Kang Min-ho, Just me. Jasmine could barely breathe. I see you, she whispered. I have been seeing you. Then tell me I'm not crazy. Tell me you feel this too. She looked at this brilliant, powerful, impossible man, looking at her like she was the answer to every question he'd ever had. I feel it, she said. God help me, I feel all of it. He cupped her face in those elegant hands. Can I kiss you? Please. He kissed her, and fans. It was everything. Soft and deep and desperate and perfect. When they broke apart, foreheads together, both breathing hard, he whispered, Stay with me tonight, just stay. Minho, if we do this, everything changes. I know, I want it to change. I need it to change. Okay, she breathed. Okay. Comment right now, are you crying? Because I'm crying. Hit that subscribe button because we're not done. 3 months later, Minho called Jasmine into his study. Sit down, he said. She sat, nervous. Is something wrong? No, something's very right. He slid a folder across the desk. She opened it. A contract, her contract, with modifications, salary, tripled, performance bonuses, substantial, new title, Executive Director of Operations, educational benefits, full MBA sponsorship if she wanted it, and at the bottom, personal clause, romantic relationship with CEO acknowledged and sanctioned, no professional conflict. She looked up, eyes wide. Minho, I talked to the board. I talked to HR. I made it official. You're not just my household manager anymore. You're my partner. In business, in life, in everything. I don't know what to say. He came around the desk, pulled her to her feet. Say yes. Say you'll stay. Say you'll build this company with me. Build a life with me. Yes, she whispered. Yes to all of it. He kissed her. 6 months later, Minho proposed on a private yacht in the Han River with Seoul glowing around them. 1 year later, they got married in a beautiful ceremony that blended Korean and American traditions. Her mama flew over, healthy, cancer-free, crying, happy tears. His entire executive team attended. It was perfect. 2 years later, Jasmine became COO of Kang Technologies. She was brilliant at it. Minho had known she would be. 3 years later, she stood in their penthouse bathroom, the same bathroom where the pipe had burst with a pregnancy test in her shaking hands. Positive. She walked out to find Minho. He looked up from his laptop, saw her face. What is it? She handed him the test. He stared at it, then at her, then at it again. You're pregnant, yes. He pulled her into his arms, held her so tight. I love you, he whispered. I love you so much. I love you too. He pulled back, grinning. Should we tell people how we met? She laughed. That you're a billionaire and I was your household manager. That you stood in my pool house soaking wet and said the most unintentionally perfect thing that made me laugh for the first time in a year. That you couldn't make me wet down there? He laughed. Exactly that. She kissed him. We're never living that down, are we? Never. It's our origin story. Fans from pool house to pregnancy. From you can't make me wet down there to married with a baby on the way. Tell me right now, in the comments, what was your favorite moment? The pool house scene, the first dinner, the confession, the proposal, the wedding. Hit that like button if this story absolutely destroyed you in the best way. Subscribe for more stories that prove sometimes the best love stories start with the most chaotic beginnings. Share this with someone who needs to know that taking a risk, moving across the world, and accidentally saying something inappropriate to a billionaire might just lead to the love of your life. Comment fearless if you believe in taking chances on love even when it's complicated. Thank you for being here, besties. Turn on those notifications because the next story is coming.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Until next time, stay fearless, stay fabulous. And remember, sometimes
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Your life is the person
you may
who
now
was
kiss the
meant
bride.
to be in it. I love you all. See you in the next story.